So, Joe, when we started this show a little over a year ago, I swore to you, or maybe not to you, but I swore to myself that we would never do a taste test on Movies Baby. Never.
Oh, okay.
Never, okay? I said, that's more among sort of YouTube shows. That's more of a Rhett and Link kind of deal.
Oh, right. So we're not content. We're doing movie journalism.
No, we're doing
like
sophisticated movie criticism.
Oh, cool.
I said never a taste test on Movies Baby. Never will we stoop to doing a taste test. But then we found out that Kevin Costner has partnered with Green Mountain Coffee to do a Horizon blend.
Yeah, two different
coffee,
flavors. Yeah,
two different flavors. So I said, throw out the rule book.
Yeah,
we're doing a taste test. We got to taste Kevin's coffee because, as you know, Joe, one of the themes of this show in its first year has been our tracking the progress of the movie.
Our love of
Horizon,
the movie Horizon,
an American Saga.
Yeah, all 4 parts. We love Horizon. We went to Santa Barbara for the premiere of Horizon Part 2, which still hasn't found a distributor.
Yeah, we're one of the few people on planet Earth who has seen Horizon.
That's right. You either had to
Chapter 2.
go to Santa Barbara that one time or go to the Venice Film Festival like 2.5 years ago. But yeah, we're amongst the chosen. We have seen Horizon Part 2, and we're also the chosen because I'm feeling like a king today, Brett. We have a big old box, 24 pods of the Green Mountain Coffee Roasters Horizon Blend by Kevin Costner, dark roast. We also have the other offering, the Green Mountain Mountainside Mocha Latte by Kevin Costner, which is very, very exciting. Now, Brett, you turned me on to this.
Yes.
Like, this isn't some wayward partnership. Both of these parties, the good folk over at Green Mountain and the good folk over at Kevin Costner are
they're into this.
They're into this
big time.
And so many social media posts about this partnership.
Because you asked me, you said, does Kevin even know that this is happening? Was this done without his knowledge? Not only does Kevin know about this, they shot a commercial. They're doing fun behind the scenes Instagram videos. For the last year, every third Green Mountain social media post has been about Kevin Costner.
Yeah, and I see that now. And I'm looking at one now, and just to kind of going into the taste test here, how does Kevin himself distinguish between these two blends? And it gives you this helpful primer right here on the Instagram. It says, which of Kevin's favorites are you? Brett, I have a question for you. Would your friends consider you bold, intense, mysterious, and resilient?
Yes.
Or would they consider you balanced, playful, indulgent, and sociable?
I think the first one.
I'm your friend. Are you bold, intense, mysterious, or is it none of those things? Are you balanced, playful, indulgent, or so? You're none of those things either.
I think I aspire to the first one, but I more often sort of tumble into the second one.
Well, look, Horizon's all about aspiration, so let's go with that.
All right, so which one is that?
So
that
bold,
Horizon
intense,
blend?
That's the Horizon blend. Kevin suggests you try the Horizon blend. Why don't you give that a taste?
Okay. And I do want to say, Green Mountain has been very clear that this is the first U.S. brand partnership of Costner's illustrious career. They've said that 100 times. So Kevin isn't just shilling for anybody, okay?
No.
He believes in this coffee. He apparently had a say in the blend. He was collaborating with Green Mountain, giving them feedback during the stages of development of this. So this has Kevin's fingerprints all over it.
Well, you know what I always say is that this partnership is a symbol of their mutual passion and commitment to enriching the land, caring for its people, and giving back to the communities.
You do say that quite often.
Yeah.
You do say
yeah.
All right.
So let's take a taste of this Horizon
They call it Cowboy
blend.
Coffee. Let's take a test.
Now, this coffee embodies the bold and boundless spirit of the American West.
It's actually pretty good.
Is it a dark roast as smooth as it is strong?
It is. It's smooth. It's a little weak in the aftertaste.
Does it have earthy, smoky flavors that lend true distinction to every cup?
It's pretty. It's a solid dark roast. Let me get one more taste.
Give me a taste of that.
Yeah, that's not bad for a K cup. That's not bad.
Here's my sip of the K cup.
Good job, Kevin.
We drink a lot of K cups at Forever Dog. Let's see. That's the best K cup.
Right?
That's the best K cup.
That might be the best thing that's ever come out of a Keurig.
This is the best green.
That's really good. That's really good. What the hell?
No one's going to believe us.
What the hell? No, they're not going to believe us.
They think we're just big fans of Kevin, which we are.
We are partisans, but that is good coffee.
Okay, it's
damn, that's cowboy coffee right there.
It's a dark roast without being annoying about it, and it's also a dark roast that's actually a dark roast. It's not. It's not secretly a medium roast.
Wow.
It does have a nice, rich, oaky flavor. It does have that earthy, smoky tone. I think this is an incredible K-Cup as far as K-Cups go.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I want to say to Kevin, don't be afraid. Can we get this? Kevin, don't be afraid to actually put your picture on the box, because that is not Kevin Costner. If we can come back a little bit. I mean, that's closer. That's Ronald Reagan. That's much closer to Ronald Reagan than Kevin Costner.
I think this artist...
That is not Kevin Costner.
I think the artist knew where their bread was buttered, and they said, Costner's our Reagan. Now, Brett, let's try this.
Know that Costner sees himself, that famous photo of Dutch with the cowboy hat on.
Yeah, like at the end of the movie Reagan.
That's right.
Now, Brett,
that's how Costner sees himself. It's aspirational.
I've loved our Horizon blend very, very much.
Yeah.
It's as I said, it's the best K-Cup of all time. But this one is a whole latte in a K-Cup.
Yes.
He's a scientist too, and a filmmaker. I don't know how they put a whole latte in there, but
this is Mountainside Mocha Latte.
We got the Mountainside Mocha Latte.
And now there it is. There we go. Thank you, Carson.
And now on the Mocha Latte, it's a picture of Kevin. So I don't know why they didn't have brand discipline enough to make these two the same.
I guess they were split testing. They said, let's do one that's actually Kevin and a really nice sort of mountain cabin thing, and then let's do one that's Ronald Reagan in Monument Valley and just see which one performs better.
And
but they both say by Kevin Costner on them.
All right, let's take a sip of this Mocha Latte.
Mocha Latte. I will say, color-wise, I'm not as crazy. It has that sort of undercooked latte sort of look to it. It's not as rich.
Although, you know what is satisfying in its own way is when it's like a vending machine that you put a quarter in and the cup of coffee comes out, like at a hospital. It kind of looks like that.
Joe, I think this is the best version of what you just described. This tastes like vending machine latte.
Right.
It's a little oversweet.
Right.
But I'm not going to compare it to freaking gourmet coffee.
Okay.
Compared to vending machine coffees, this is pretty good vending machine.
I like a vending machine coffee. Yeah. When I lived in Paris, France, I used to get
pretty good.
Put a centime in the old vending machine,
which is what I like about it. It's not going to make me sick.
This is good. This is just like a bad hot chocolate, and it's a bad hot chocolate that has that horrible chemical aftertaste that it came out of a vending machine.
But not as bad as other ones like that. It's
very nostalgic. I mean, it kind of has that Swiss Miss chemical sort of afterglow, but it also has a nice little zip of caffeine.
I like to think that that's because Kevin.
I think that I would drink this on yuck. I'd forget about this by Friday and try it again. But I'm gonna say, Brett, that if I had to pick no, I'm not going to second guess Mr. Costner. I'm sure many people love this flavor, but I personally would go for a Horizon blend.
Yeah, can I actually have another sip of that?
I need to get the Mocha Latte out of my mouth, the Mountainside Mocha Latte. Man.
And this was the original. They came out with the Mountainside Mocha Latte a year later. But the Horizon blend has been out since, I think, 2023. We're just finding out about it now, which honestly, I mean, I think you have to do marketing in addition to posting on your Instagram, I think is what I would say to Green Mountain. Do some more wide reach marketing, because you got a hit on your hands here, people. This could be Kevin's Casamigos, and this could get Horizon Chapter 3 and 4 financed if you start marketing this as what it is, which is the best damn K-Cup you're ever going to have in your life.
Kevin, trust your coffee instincts. Cut ties with the fucking ball and chain Green Mountain. You need to go indie on this project. You should be in charge of the entire system. You get coffee, obviously.
Green Mountain is not serving your interests.
No,
okay, Green Mountain. No. You have a gold mine here.
We are the only Horizon fans in the world, and we love coffee. And we found this by accident on Amazon. Okay,
this should be served to us in the algorithm every day of our lives.
Get rid of these Green Mountain fools and go indie on this. And I want to see, much like Megalopolis, financed by the wine. I want Horizon Part 3 financed by your coffee. And I'm just worried that Green Mountain isn't serving your best interests. Are they paying enough for your licensing, Kevin? Are they undervaluing you? Are they saying, oh, we couldn't get Yellowstone, but we got Kevin on the cheap? Fuck them. Watch your back. I'll watch your back for you, Kevin. I'll watch your back.
Now, you might be tapping into something, because I found this behind the scenes video on Green Mountain social media that didn't seem like Kevin was maybe as into doing as he could have been, because this was while they were filming a Green Mountain commercial, which you can also go look up online. It's a just sort of jokey little commercial. But there was this behind-the-scenes video that was more interesting to me. Carson, can we look at this behind-the-scenes video? Here we go.
Hello, everyone. Drinking coffee. I let you know I'm happy about our association with Green Mountain. It's a great product. It always has been for me. Kira, I'm glad to be associated with Green Mountain, and take care.
Wow. Get out of my face. Get out of my face.
I mean, I've seen some Frankenstein clips before, but I wonder if he said any of those words in succession. Pretty incredible clip from the Green Mountain
Whoever
team.
edited that did not have Kevin's best interests in mind, because the first three sentences are something like, hello there, drinking coffee, I'm Kevin Costner.
I think Kevin...
Sorry, Carson, can we actually watch just the very beginning again? Just listen to the first three sentences.
Hello, everyone. Drinking coffee. I want to let you know.
Sorry, one more time.
Hey, everyone, drinking coffee.
Hello, everyone. Drinking coffee. I want to let you know I'm happy about our
great.
association with Green Mountain.
So I want to let you know.
He starts off, hello, everyone, drinking coffee.
I want to let you know I'm happy about my association with Green. Kevin, you're not into it. Cut him out.
You're also not drinking coffee.
Indie.
He's just standing there in a field without
Kevin
a cup
Costner
of coffee
drinking coffee.
Hey, everyone, drinking coffee.
All right, Brett, let's get into this dang thing.
Carson, roll that fanfare, please.
Welcome to Movies, Baby, the weekly show where we break down the hottest movie news, review the latest releases, shout out forgotten classics, Horizon, and prophesy the future of Hollywood. I'm Joe Cilio, a.k.a. the Philly Movie Freak, and I'm here with my co-host, Brett Boehm, a.k.a. the Georgia Movie Dog.
Go Dogs! We're coming to you live from the San Fernando Valley, baby. The newest Marvel movie, Thunderbolts, just hit theaters this weekend. We've got the full breakdown, plus some breaking movie news you're not going to want to miss. And then in the second half of the show, and this is for Patreon subscribers only, Weekend at Bergman's is back.
Weekend at Bergman's is back.
Other show where we compare a mainstream movie, a popcorn movie, and an art house movie. We pit them against each other based on some shared theme. And then we have to tell you, we have to be honest, and we tell you which one is better, which one is actually better, and the one that's better goes in the canon. It gets to compete with other 80s movies for the ultimate 80s movie. We're in our 1980s season right now, and the one that we did not like as much goes in the trash can, and then we can never watch again for the rest of our lives. It's the most tense, high-stakes movie podcast you're ever going to experience.
Because right after this show, Brett, we'll be doing E.T., versus Paris, Texas. So for the last time in our lives, we'll either be watching, have watched E.T. or Paris, Texas. One of them's going in the canon, one of them's going in the trash can. But that's Weekend at Bergman's.
Yes.
We're doing that later.
Yes, that's
because right now we're talking movies, baby.
Movies, baby. And this week on Movies, Baby, Marvel topped the box office for the second time this year. But how well did Thunderbolts perform relative to expectations? And what does it mean for the future of the MCU? Carson, show me the money. And by money, I mean the weekend box office returns, baby. Wow, wow, wow. Another great weekend at the box office. As we've been talking about, April was a huge resurgent month for the for Hollywood and for the movie box office after a terrible first 3 months of 2025. And that trend is continuing this week because we had three very well-performing movies. Let me review them real quick, and then I want to dig into each one separately. But let's start with Thunderbolts, which debuted at $75 million domestic. It made another $86 million internationally for a total first weekend haul of $162 million. We'll dig more into those numbers in a second relative to the budget, but let's also shout out Sinners, which continued to rake in its third week, despite getting kicked off IMAX screens by Thunderbolts, continued to rake in money, making $33 million domestic this weekend. Again, only a 28% drop. That's after only a 6% drop in its second weekend. People love Sinners. This is a phenomenon, and it's not going away anytime soon. It's up to $236.7 million worldwide. Unbelievable. That's an original movie, completely original IP, financed by Warner Brothers. And then coming in third, a Minecraft movie.
Only a 40% drop there.
Yes. And you know why? Is because Warner Brothers busted out its block party screenings this week. So it leaned in. It leaned into the viral phenomenon of of kids going to Minecraft movies and throwing popcorn everywhere and screaming chicken jockey and treating it like it's Rocky Horror. That was not Warner Brothers' idea. That was the kids online coming up with that. But Warner Brothers said, hey, we want to get in on this fun. It's our movie after all. So they've been staging these block party screenings where I guess it's just like The Purge. There's no rules. You just go into a movie theater to see a Minecraft movie. You can do whatever the hell you want, apparently. I don't know what the idea. I don't know why, but
scary.
Because of those block party screenings, a Minecraft movie only had a 40% drop in its fourth or fifth weekend. It is up to
fifth weekend.
It's closing in on 900 million. It's up to 873 million worldwide. So it's is it going to get to $1 billion? I don't know. That's another 130 million. It's got to find somewhere. So I don't know. We'll see. It might not quite make it, but it's getting close to $1 billion.
It will.
Getting close to $1 billion. We still don't have an American movie that's made $1 billion this year. Neja 2 though is now up to be. It's well over $2 billion. This is the Chinese animated movie Neja 2, and it is now the 5th highest grossing movie of all time. So that obviously is the highest grossing movie of the year, but a Minecraft movie coming in second. Maybe it'll make it to $1 billion. You got to keep doing those block party screenings, baby. Keep doing those block party screenings. Now let's talk about Thunderbolts, Joe. And I know that the headline for Thunderbolts this weekend was like good, not great. Solid for Marvel, but not like a smash opening. But considering that the budget was only $180 million, and considering that Marvel has been in a bit of a slump, relative to their previous successes during the Infinity Saga years, and considering that this movie doesn't have any major Marvel heroes in it, it is a total side quest that I guess is going to become part of the main narrative. But there's no Captain America here. There's no Hulk. There's no Thor. There's no Iron Man. We don't have any of the main heroes here. So considering all of that, what do you think? How is Marvel feeling about the performance of Thunderbolts?
Marvel has to be feeling amazing about the performance of Thunderbolts, and pretending like it didn't do well this weekend is just a choice. It's like you're trying to be cranky or something. Obviously, post-COVID, this is a tremendous win for the box office and for the Marvel Studios. Additionally, this movie was a critical success, which Marvel Studios needed almost as much as the box office totals.
One of the highest Rotten Tomatoes scores of any Marvel movie ever.
They need to activate their humongous audience to go to the movie theaters for phase 12 of the Marvel thing, and Thunderbolts served that purpose beautifully. It was paired with Kevin Feige with saying a mea culpa that during the COVID years, Chapek and crew slammed through too much Marvel onto movie theater screens and onto streaming, and they shoved it down our throats, and people got tired of it, and it got too fractured, and it became homework. Thunderbolts fixes that. I didn't know that Florence Pugh's character Yelena was in the TV shows, which she is apparently.
Right, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character.
Is she, I didn't know any of that.
I didn't know any of that either.
And it didn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It didn't feel like it mattered, or it just felt like this movie caught me, the lay person, up. And now I'm ready to go with more Marvel. If they're going to be this level of good, I'll see you there. I'm not opposed to Marvel movies being good. I'm opposed to them being bad. This one was good, Brett.
This had, and we'll give our full review of Thunderbolts coming up later in the show. But this was this seemed like a good news for Marvel across the board, like you're saying. Financially, a solid performance, but you're forgetting that this could have gone terribly wrong. Again, you don't have any of the existing big. I mean, I guess minus Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes, but you don't have any of the main central characters in this. You're kind of charting a new direction. Stylistically, they were saying it was sort of inspired by A24. So there was risks across the board here, and what you came out with is a really good opening week performance. Great reviews, so it should have a long tail. Hopefully this thing should have staying power, because people were pointing out that it didn't perform as well opening weekend as Captain America Brave New World, which was the first Marvel movie that came out this year, but that has fucking Captain America and the Hulk in it, and it got pretty bad reviews and fell off, whereas Thunderbolts could have much more staying power with these solid reviews. So, and like you said, Joe, it also just sort of felt like it reinvigorated the franchise. It's their first really good movie in a while, if you consider both the critics' reviews and the audience response.
I didn't know any of these characters going in. I left the movie. I know all these characters, and I like them.
Yep.
Like, that's a job well done. Plus, you made $180 million opening weekend, so you covered your budget.
Win,
you know what I mean?
Win. All right, now let's talk about Sinners, because the only thing that could slow Sinners down after its historic run over the first 2 weeks was getting kicked off IMAX screens to make way for Thunderbolts. But not even that, as we saw, could slow it down. It only had a 24% drop despite that. Audiences are like fighting the industry itself to go see the movie, and they're winning.
It'll be back in IMAX next week.
That's right. Thank you. It was it's good. Thank you.
Exactly.
It was just announced that Sinners is returning to IMAX screens in a couple weeks, so they are bringing it back to IMAX screens after Thunderbolts clears out. And this brings up a really interesting point that I think is emblematic of the box office's resurgence this year, which is, if you look at supply and demand, the problem in Hollywood recently has been demand. You know, they're putting out plenty of movies, but people have not been showing up for them in the first 3 months of this year and post-COVID in general. But suddenly, between Sinners and Thunderbolts, they don't have enough IMAX screens. Suddenly we have a supply problem, which is a great problem to have. And so looking at what's going on right now, I would say, because Thunderbolts made a huge chunk of its change in IMAX screens. And so what that is telling me is that we need to build more IMAX theaters. These things, this is what is creating a competitive advantage for movies right now. This is what's creating a distinguishing advantage for movies over streaming, over staying at home, over TV shows, is these massive eventized IMAX releases. It's what made Sinners such a phenomenon. I finally got to see the IMAX 70mm screening of Sinners last week. I had to check every single screening half an hour before the time to see if anybody had dropped their seats because they were all sold out. Finally, last Wednesday at like 2 o'clock, I found one seat in an IMAX screening of Sinners. That's how popular this thing is. But imagine if there was double the amount of those IMAX screens right now. Imagine if LA had 2 70mm IMAX screens that could screen Sinners. Then suddenly we're looking at even more profits for this movie. So I think after struggling through a demand problem since COVID, Hollywood suddenly has a supply problem. Let's build some more frickin' IMAX screens and invest in movies that are going to be shown on those screens. What do you think? I don't know.
I love it. I have become sort of like, if it's an IMAX, I'd wait to go see it in IMAX. Yeah. And it does seem like every movie that it hits, we get a report that, and it was because so many people went to go, it was eventized and it was big and people wanted to see it on the biggest screen. I wonder what their expansion plans are at IMAX, because, you know, this 70mm thing, like, I don't know. It's a supply, it's a demand problem. Maybe it's a supply problem too. I wonder if IMAX is planning on doing that. I really don't know.
They've got to be investing in more screens, I would think, because they are the most popular part of the theatrical experience right now. They seem to be the ones that are driving this resurgence, you know,
like
through Sinners, through Thunderbolts.
Right.
Because look, I saw Sinners twice on just like the regular kind of IMAX, the sort of like fake IMAX, and it was amazing. It was I've already said one of my favorite movies, if not my favorite movie of the year. Seeing it in that 70mm, that 15 perf IMAX, oh my god, with that extra verticality,
yeah, I saw Thunderbolts.
It was even better somehow.
I saw Thunderbolts in the fake IMAX,
yeah,
and it was awesome, but it's nothing compared to the giant, the big one that goes up and down too. They should put more of those around. It's true. I know there's one in New York, there's one in Florida,
build more.
There's one in upstate California.
Spend money to make money, baby. The demand is there now. Now it's time for supply to catch up to demand.
I kind of also think or build like 20%, take out like 10% of the theaters and put in 10% more smaller IMAX and just market it as IMAX. Like, people don't care now.
Even that is a huge advantage.
So big and nice. Yeah. I agree with you.
Yeah,
do it.
It's like Sinners in regular IMAX, A. Sinners in the 70mm IMAX, A+. They're both incredible experiences that offer you a advantage and a competitive advantage over streaming. Fuck Ted Sarandos. Build IMAX screens.
Wow.
Bury Ted beneath a fucking avalanche of IMAX screens.
Wow.
Then we'll see if he still says that people don't go to the movies anymore.
Wow.
Now, this has, after Minecraft movies, Sinners, Thunderbolts, the year-to-date revenue is now up nearly 16% over 2024, which I can't believe we're saying. The first 3 months of this year were an absolute disaster. Nobody was going to the movies. It was a worse year-over-year than last year. But now, oh my God, what a turnaround. We're up nearly 16% over 2024. And this weekend last year, compared to this weekend last year, the movies performed at 95% better. Because you know what this weekend was last year? Fall Guy. It was Fall Guy. So compared to Fall Guy, which sort of started off the summer with a whimper, and kind of, it took a long time for the summer to catch up. It wasn't until the Inside Out 2 phenomenon that the summer caught up. So instead of starting out with Fall Guy, Furiosa, Mad Max, which is a great movie, but people didn't come out to see it, now we're kicking it off with Thunderbolts, and suddenly everything is clicking, baby. We got Mission Impossible and Lilo and Stitch coming in a few weeks. Ooh. The movies are humming. Build more IMAX screens. Let's keep it going. Now, Joe, you are known as the Philly movie freak.
Yeah.
And we have a signature segment on Movies Baby called Freak Off, Freak Yeah, where I run you through some breaking movie headlines, the hottest. Some of them may be just rumors, hot off the press, breaking movie headlines. And you're going to tell me, freak yeah?
Yeah.
Meaning you're excited about this headline, you can't wait to hear more, to see this movie, whatever.
Okay.
Or freak off.
Freak off.
Freak off.
And like we always clarify, and it's just nothing to do with the Diddy parties.
That's right. I'm sorry. Yes, it has nothing to do with the Diddy parties.
But we started the segment after that all came out, so obviously it was in your head when you thought of the title.
They are both bad. Like the Diddy parties are bad, and then freak off is bad. Is the bad, like we don't like that. Right. So they are connected in that way.
Okay, cool. Here we go.
My first headline for you, Joe.
I'm ready.
Has to do with Japanese shako tour. Takashi Miike.
Yeah.
You like this guy, right?
Of course.
Audition, Ichi the Killer, 13 Assassins, the list goes on.
I love them.
This guy's worked in a variety of genres, but is probably most famous for these movies that have sort of a high shock value, ultra-violent, extreme subject matter, Audition being the most famous. Now, it was reported last week, Joe, that Neon, our friends over at Neon, are producing a new Bad Lieutenant movie following the Abel Ferrara original and the Werner Herzog Port of Call New Orleans one.
Yeah.
And this new Bad Lieutenant movie is going to be directed by none other than Takashi Miike, and it's called Bad Lieutenant Tokyo. Freak yeah or freak off?
Freak yeah.
Yeah, freak yeah.
Obviously freak yeah. I feel like Miike makes Bad Lieutenant every other movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like he was born to make a Bad Lieutenant. I just can't wait to see what else this project has in store. Who's it going to be casting? Where are we shooting? How much is the money? Who's distributing? You said Neon's distributing?
Neon's distributing.
Maybe they put some money in.
I think Neon's producing. I think they're paying for the movie.
That's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a huge freak yeah.
Huge freak yeah. Cannot wait to hear more about Bad Lieutenant Tokyo. And I love that Bad Lieutenant has become this sort of spiritual franchise that these sort of gonzo directors jump into. They all sense they all sense something spiritual that draws them to the Bad Lieutenant franchise, which was never even intended to be a franchise.
God bless.
What is it? It's like this mode that you sort of work in, like a director will work in for a movie or something. Well, I can't wait to find out more. I can't wait.
See you there.
And hey, if you got some money in your pocket, Neon is planning on shopping the international distribution rights at Cannes this year.
Wow.
So you can go to Cannes, get a meeting with Neon, try to buy those international distribution rights. Yeah, maybe we should put in the bid.
I'll buy them.
$2. We'll start the bidding at $2. And it's also aiming for a 2026 theatrical release, so we'll see this thing before we know it. Guy Ritchie, Joe. Guy Ritchie. We are fans of Guy Ritchie.
Yes.
We did a whole episode where we picked our top 5 Guy Ritchie movies of all time, and it was hard.
Yeah.
Because we like a lot of his movies.
Yeah, he's good.
They're also all sort of at the same level, more or less.
Right.
The other thing that makes it hard, or a lot of them are. Now, as you know, Joe, Guy Ritchie has been busy lately. Since 2019, this is the only guy in Hollywood that COVID didn't slow down. Since 2019, he's been averaging a movie a year. He has Fountain of Youth dropping on Apple TV this month. It's like an Indiana Jones National Treasure thing with John Krasinski, blah. But it's a Guy Ritchie movie, so I'll see it. Then he's got another 2 movies in the queue. One's in post-production, one is filming now. This guy cannot stop. He cannot slow down. Because last week, here's your headline, it was announced that Guy Ritchie would be directing the sequel to Jake Gyllenhaal's Roadhouse. That's right, Roadhouse 2, directed by Guy Ritchie. Freak yeah, freak off.
Freak off.
Oh, freak off.
Freak off.
Freak off.
Ritchie already paid his dues. He already clawed his way back. He already told us time and time again he's capable of bringing in the bucks if you put him in the right situation. I don't trust or like this new Roadhouse, and I don't like how popular it was. I don't like that it was the biggest streaming movie of all time, and I don't know why I don't like it. It's just I find it distasteful, and I find this to be Guy Ritchie lowering himself and taking a check. And maybe it'll be really good, but he can make an action movie out of anything. I loved his last movie. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is a really charming,
movie.
really fun,
pure Guy Ritchie
spy, good time. Henry Cavill starring,
killing Nazis. It's just old school.
It's so good and fun and awesome. And I loved The Covenant. I've loved a lot of his recent movies
with Jake Gyllenhaal, who's reteaming with here.
Yeah, I suppose so. I don't know. Fuck streaming. Fuck Roadhouse 2. Guy Ritchie, fuck with this. Fuck that. God, it's not even your franchise. You're doing a second one? You're fucking Guy Ritchie. Fuck off. Boo. What is this? Freak off.
I agree with you, Joe. I was reading, because when I saw this headline, I was like, what? That Roadhouse movie sucked. And then I was going back and reading like descriptions of the movie and news articles about this, and I was like, what movie are y'all talking about? There was references to like Gyllenhaal's winking performance and the movie's sly, campy sensibilities, and I was like, this is the fucking Nicole Kidman AMC promo all over again. If this is camp, it's camp for normies, which is no camp at all. This movie, the first Roadhouse, sorry, not the first one, which is a masterpiece, the Jake Gyllenhaal remake, I watched it before I think I watched it like the first weekend it came out, the first night it was on streaming. So there was no like press or reviews really, or like any kind of cultural response to it. And I was just like, this is terrible. Like there's nothing.
But you know what you also said? You also said like it was so bad it was fun.
Okay.
Which is fine. Okay. So for Roadhouse 2, which you obviously should make if you're Amazon, just hire like up and comer number 12 to do it. Yeah. Why? And I guess you get Guy Ritchie to like keep Jake happy, and like we're really going to invest in this franchise and make it good with a real steady hand. Maybe we'll get Guy Ritchie. Like I see it. I just like I was enjoying Guy doing these like workman like one-offs and not. He already has franchises.
These both
we already
feel
had
like
Gentlemen.
Fountain of Youth feels like a huge detour as well.
But he traditionally does this. He has years of money making and he has years of creative freedom. I mean, like maybe he has a plan, man. I don't know.
You have to be on board for the whole Guy Ritchie trajectory. You can't get sort of like overly bothered by little misses here and there, because they're going to be little misses, little detours. This guy just for whatever reason has to work at a very fast, relentless pace, and every third or fourth movie is going to be a gem. But you also get some crap in there as well. Yeah. Did I really say it was so bad it was good?
Well, no, you just like were enthused.
It's really bad.
You had fun watching it and told me like every minute of it passionately.
I mean, I was.
But you communicated it was bad.
I was fascinated by how bad Conor McGregor was. That was uniquely fascinating part of the movie. I don't know if it ever got so bad it was good. It was, it's not and it's certainly not like The Beekeeper or something. It doesn't have like the sort of,
you didn't treat it like that,
the thrill of that.
You didn't say like, oh, it was good. You just were.
I was probably like, you got to watch this car. You got to watch
this
car accident of a movie. Yeah. Which is fair. That was my response. Was like, oh my god. But I definitely wasn't like dying for a sequel, and I certainly don't want to waste Guy Ritchie's time with this nonsense. But I don't know. Maybe he can make it good. Maybe he finds something interesting. He doesn't have Conor McGregor's terrible performance to work around anymore.
Roadhouse 2.
Conor McGregor dies in the first one. Sucks. Sorry, spoiler.
Roadhouse 2.
All right.
Sucks.
Last news item for Freak Off Freak. Yeah. Megan, the first one, not 2.0. Megan got a re-release in theaters. This is something Blumhouse is doing this year. They're calling it their halfway to Halloween re-release.
Good idea.
Fawn, whatever. They re-released Megan. They're doing Annabelle. They're doing Ma. They're doing some of their crowd pleaser hits. Good job, Jason Blum over at Blumhouse. But you might not be as crazy about this idea, because this Megan re-release screening has something unique about it. They're going to allow fans to communicate with the evil doll herself, Megan, via a chatbot that was made by Meta, the company that owns Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg's company. So Meta is launching something called Movie Mate technology that's coming out with these Megan screenings that allows moviegoers during the film to access exclusive content, trivia, and behind-the-scenes info in real time. The way that you access this second screen experience is that you DM the Instagram account Megan, and then you can sort of, I guess, DM with Megan throughout the movie is the idea.
Stop.
Freak yeah, freak off.
Off. Freak off. Stop talking. I hate it. I don't care. I fucking hate that one. It's such like the exec overthink.
Yeah.
It's like no. They like second screen content because it's not the movie.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to they can spend time instead of on Instagram while they're watching Megan. They can spend time in Meganverse, and then they can talk to Megan, and they'll deepen their fan appreciation for it. Won't do nothing. It's fucking that whole idea pisses me off to no end. I love the I don't care actually about different kinds of screening. This isn't about phones in movie theaters. It's not about AI. It's about this like specific application being like too heady. This is something that somebody in a boardroom says that like shows that they're like up on it or whatever. Like they're thinking about it smartly or whatever. But this is not smart. This is stupid. This will be a one-off. They're going to have lots of cool screenings in the future. You'll have phone screenings. You'll have interactive screenings. You'll have you can smoke inside screenings. You'll have you can eat a cheeseburger screenings. But whatever this sounds lame and it sucks. I don't just put Megan out in the fucking movie theaters. That's enough of a fun thing for Megan fans. You don't need to DM Megan during the movie. I fucking hate this idea. I don't like Megan either. I'm freak off, Brett. I do not like it.
Now, Peter DeBruge over at Variety, who's the guy who was always a couple weeks behind us in terms of making predictions and so forth. But Peter DeBruge at Variety went to one of these Megan movie mate screenings.
What did he say?
He said two things. Number one, no one in the screening was using the app.
But they're watching a movie. They just paid $15-20 to fucking sit there and watch it. Why do they want to do trivia during the movie?
This is the trivia thing. It's like when you go to a baseball game and they'll always put up like, get out your phone and download this app and take a selfie of yourself and email it to this address, and nobody does it. You know, it's because
somebody in a boardroom is like, it's just like, I'm using the technology and the data. Fuck is a bad idea. I'm sure all the data points are there for why this is sound.
Peter did try this. He said he sat in the back row and he tried the Megan movie mate. So he DM'd Megan, and then the app responded saying, "Hey Peter, miss me? Of course you did. OFC you did. Because you're my bestie." Next, the app said, "I'll spill the tea about making my movie and tell you what really happened while you watch." And then just apparently spit out some really trite behind-the-scenes facts while he was watching the movie.
This is boardroom brain rot. That's just like, guys, that's exec shit.
Just make more IMAX screens. What are we doing? Just make more IMAX
that's
screens.
That's exec shit. That's saving my job quarter to quarter stuff. I hate that stuff. Fire that person and hire me, Jason.
And that was another edition of Freak Off or Freak Yeah. You want to talk about Thunderbolts?
I do. No, let's get back. I need to go back up. That one those made me grumpy.
I'm excited to talk about Thunderbolts.
All right. Well, what did you like so much about Thunderbolts?
Well, let me get my little intro first. It's okay. It's okay. Here we go. This week on Movies Baby, the Marvel Cinematic Universe returned to movie theaters with its second of 3 releases scheduled for 2025, Thunderbolts. Joe and I saw it. We're going to review it. But first, let's dig a little bit, if you don't mind, into the state of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the highest grossing movie franchise of all time. Now, the MCU has been on a bit of a roller coaster ride since Avengers Endgame in 2019. Endgame, of course, is the second highest grossing movie of all time. Massive blockbuster to the nth degree. And it brought an end to the first era of the MCU, the so-called Infinity Saga, which started with Iron Man and produced $8 billion movies over its run. It's the golden age of the MCU, what we think of as the MCU. But since Endgame, the MCU has been winding its way through what it calls the multiverse saga, which in comparison has produced only $2 billion movies. One of them was a Sony movie. It wasn't even a Disney Marvel movie, Spider-Man No Way Home. And the other, Deadpool and Wolverine from last year, it is just on its own island. It's barely even part of kind of the central narrative of the MCU. So the multiverse saga has been a bit of a rough ride for Marvel, particularly compared to the Infinity Saga. And it's even produced what was unthinkable several years ago, actual flops, movies that like The Eternals, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, The Marvels, movies that underperformed both critically and financially. This would have been unthinkable during the Infinity Saga run. So that brings us to 2025. Thunderbolts, like I said, is the second of 3 Marvel releases this year, along with Captain America: Brave New World and Fantastic Four: First Steps, all of which is leading up to the big one next year, Avengers Doomsday, which officially has started filming, but if you trust the rumors, it does not have a finished script yet, and it does not even have finalized casting yet, and the Russos are trying to film around an unfinished script and unfinalized casting, which is never a good thing. On the other hand, people have pointed out that this is always the way it is with Marvel movies. They always go through script rewrites and reshoots, and the cast is always hard to wrangle because you need like 20 of the biggest movie stars in the same place at the same time. So you can decide which part of the debate you fall on with that. But the fact of the matter is, Avengers Doomsday has a $300 million budget. We just saw what the Russo brothers do with $300 million with Netflix's The Electric State, which is an absolute garbage fire of a movie. Avengers Doomsday has to come out May 1st, 2026, come hell or high water. I mean, if they have to push this thing back, that's going to be really, really bad. Has to come out May 1st, 2026. Bad not just for Marvel, bad for movies in general. Last year, probably would have been a lot better if Deadpool and Wolverine had kicked off the summer like it was originally planned instead of Fall Guy and Furiosa. So everybody needs Avengers Doomsday to come out on May 1st, 2026 and be the big hit that is expected to be. But right now, a bit of a rocky road. We'll see what the Russo brothers can bring together by May of next year. So all of that in mind, Joe, going into Thunderbolts weekend, this past weekend, how would you rate the state of the MCU? Do you think they're actually in trouble? Are they fine? Are they too big to fail? What is the state of the MCU going into Thunderbolts weekend?
Going into Thunderbolts weekend, I was one person that was saying I would rather like manage the decline of Marvel than run essentially any other studio if my goal was to make bankable hit movies, right? But I think that where the shift comes is that after Thunderbolts, I personally feel like, oh, I don't have to manage a decline. I can manage a second renaissance.
Yeah.
That was my feeling.
Yeah.
Because like me and you, for better or worse, like, and not really, but like we liked, I'll speak for myself. I liked Brave New World. I don't care that it sucked ass. It was good or whatever. Who cares?
It was totally fine.
Like literally, who cares?
People's negative reaction to it was confusing.
Whatever. Like we're not invested. We don't give a shit. It was fine.
It was fine.
But Thunderbolts was actually good, and then I get why people would like it, and I get why people would want to like follow along for more. Like the Brave New World, I wasn't like, I get why people will want a sixth Captain America movie. Like, no, I just was like, oh, Harrison Ford's on screen, that's crazy. But for Thunderbolts, I was like, oh, okay, wait, look, these are characters that I can get invested in. They're cool. Like Florence Pugh is a fucking movie star.
Yes,
certified,
big time,
and like. Good casting her. Like, oh, good. Like, Florence Pugh's in charge of things now. Like, she's good at acting. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is doing her thing. Like, well, I love her. That's no problem. Even horrible David Harbour is funny and charming in this movie.
I thought the same thing.
What?
I have a visceral reaction to David Harbour and not a good visceral reaction.
I don't trust him.
Usually. I just don't like...
I don't trust his projects.
He seems like he has one... He also seems like he has one trick in his bag, which is just sort of loud and angry, and I've just gotten so tired of it. But in this movie...
Not so.
It was a little
softer
and more charming and lovable. I even like David Harbour in Thunderbolts, which is a miracle.
So basically, Thunderbolts to me showed a couple things that Marvel can still do, where they can have a renaissance going into Phase 4 or 5. Do you know which phase it is officially, by any chance?
Yeah, it's this is the end of Phase 5, and then Fantastic Four kicks off Phase 6.
Oh, Fantastic Four doesn't look good though.
I know
that kind of gets in the way of my little speech here.
Well, but
we didn't see it yet, so that's just a trailer. Who cares? I'll just talk about Thunderbolts.
Yes.
Here's what Thunderbolts did well that I haven't seen in a lot of Marvel movies of late. Like, I don't know, nice, clean wants and emotions that are human and not based on lore. You know what I mean? It's like she wants that because she feels sad, not because like the multiverse will tear into two. It's a lot easier for me as a person to be like, yeah, I've felt sad before too. You know, that sucks. You know, so like, for real, like okay, like good job, like making me emotionally grounded characters. Two, this movie had still too much for my liking, but as far as like reality of making a multiverse 70 movie franchise goes, it had like less Marvel than usual, or at least an approachable amount of Marvel lore for me to get on board with. And at the end, spoiler alert, who cares? It's a fucking comic book movie. You can skip if you want. They're going to be like, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is going to position these ragtag crew of villains as the new Avengers, and because now they're going to be looked at as heroes. So now there's going to be an exciting thing where it's like Florence Pugh and Julia Louis-Dreyfus have their Avengers, and Anthony Mackie has his Avengers, I guess, right? Oh, look, there's Bucky, and then there's like Anthony Mackie.
Thunderbolts is like crashing into the Avengers narrative,
right? Because Julia Louis-Dreyfus is going to like push it up. Anyway, this ending, all of a sudden, layman, was like, Okay, I'm excited, or
Same.
or I'm ready for. I'd much rather do Florence Pugh's Avengers versus Anthony Mackie's Avengers than like Thanos or no. Loki's the Time Lord and there's 1,700 things, and the multiverse thing fucking sucked. Let's say it.
Yeah, let's put
the
it to bed,
multiverse
people. Let's
sucked.
put it to bed.
It served their needs at the time to develop their streaming platform. Like literally.
No, that was it. That was it,
dude.
It was such a transparent like financial move. It was like, what can we do narratively to just expand this into all platforms in 100 different directions at once?
Smart on paper.
Oh, multiverse.
Smart on paper.
It's terrible for user experience. It's like terrible for user experience, audience experience.
It's like the James Wiseman plan with the Warriors, where it's like, we'll be good old and we'll be good young. It's like, no. Just worry about Steph. Don't worry about fucking James Wiseman, fucking Kuminga.
Just do what you do good.
Do Steph.
They got too greedy.
Yes.
They spread it too far, too thin.
Right.
And I could not agree with you, Joe. Thunderbolts, I think, was my favorite Marvel movie since Black Panther, which has been a while now. And it's for exactly the reason that you said, is it feels like a movie. It doesn't feel like something, like I've said before, that is 1/3 previously on, 1/3 next time on, and then this sort of hastily put together villain of the week thing. This really felt like a movie with real characters, with a real arc. It was excellently performed. Florence Pugh is great. Sebastian Stan is so cool when he comes on the motorcycle on the highway. It's just amazing.
Just reboot the Terminator now.
He looks like the Terminator,
and I was
it's
like, all
so
right,
cool.
reboot.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus, smart. Just get her to do
Selena Myers.
Yeah, she's just doing Selena Myers as like an actual sort of comic book
good
villain.
idea. I love Selena Myers.
It's great.
Good idea.
It was great stuff. And like you said, it struck a nice balance on the lore. Of course, it's got to do a little bit of lore, a little bit of continuing the narrative of all the other movies and stuff and the phases.
Fine. But it wasn't heavy-handed.
No. It felt like
Deadpool and Wolverine. It was like
movie.
Suffocating.
Yes. And speaking of Deadpool and Wolverine, the one thing that I thought Thunderbolts did well, which Marvel has never done well, and is one of my main pet peeves about them, is Marvel, particularly in this multiverse saga era, has become obsessed with making every movie a sort of meta commentary on the franchise itself, or a referendum on the franchise, or a referendum on problems that they created in the franchise, and then they act like it's just sort of like problems that they why is the franchise in disarray? Let's make a movie about how the franchise is in disarray. It's like, you made the franchise in disarray. So they've been trying to sort of like monetize their own incompetency during this multiverse saga period, and I think it's just transparent to audiences. I think that's a big reason why the movies have sort of suffered critically and financially as well. But here, like, out of nowhere, miraculously, I liked the sort of light meta commentary on the state of the franchise because it was grounded in character and it was relatable, and it was about being sort of these just depressed superheroes that have nothing to do except do like kill missions for the government, and they just have no meaning or purpose in their lives. They're all depressed, and then they suddenly sort of find a purpose together. And I think it was like it wasn't a heavy-handed meta commentary, not like Deadpool and Wolverine, which made me want to like pull my hair out. All the
tough.
Inside jokes and jokes about Fox versus Disney.
My stomach still hurts.
Come on now, who gives a shit about any of this? In comparison to that, Thunderbolts has, I thought, it wasn't even like, you know what it was good about it? It didn't even feel meta. It just felt like sort of inherent. It felt like, oh, this is where we are. This is like a realistic appraisal of where this franchise is and where it should go. And it was just a movie that felt like it was looking in the mirror in an honest way and was just set out to do what it should be doing all along, which is just make movies. Just make movies that people are going to want to see, that are going to make them, that are going to be endearing and compelling, and they're going to have good characters in them. It was just a very back to basics movie, but also it had some really nice stylistic choices. It was very cool. It was funny. Cool. I just was like, I was just rooting for Marvel, which I haven't done forever.
Me too. I know, isn't that weird?
It was weird.
Like you said, they did a good job, like keeping it grounded, but then at the end it provided an exciting okay, I'm excited to see what happens next with the Avengers, something I didn't care about before I watched this movie, and now I'm like, okay, whatever. And this movie was so like much better than previous movies this studio put out that I started being this guy. I was like, wait, you know what? Marvel's fucking so cool. Are you telling me? Well, no, think about this. Think about this.
I had the same thing. It's like,
wait. How did they do this? They took 50 years of America's favorite superheroes, and they they made it into 50 beloved movies with biggest stars in the world, like every comic book fan's dream. Like, and then they all connect, and there's like spin-offs, and they've made 40 of them. You know, they've made like, don't quote me on this, $70 billion in the global, and only cost like $7 billion. From business, like Marvel didn't let other niches develop. That's like the problem with Marvel, is that their ascendancy during the ascendancy of streaming made it difficult for other niche pockets of content or types of films. It was
a hegemony. It swallowed up all available capital for movies.
Exactly, and that's sort of where the big ding comes in. Yeah, but like almost if you were to forgive them for being too successful, essentially, and also like they didn't. They just responded to the culture that exists. They didn't make our shitty culture, okay? I mean, that they helped it be shitty as they made some bad movies. But what I'm trying to say is, because we live in this timeline, to make it Marvel-y, where Marvel existed, not where, Marvel didn't exist, and now, all these amazing like there's this fake future people believe would have happened if Marvel didn't happen. Every movie would be $20 million, and it would make $60 million opening weekend, and they'd all be like black bag. Like, no, they wouldn't. It would just be a different Marvel. Like, I don't know. If we're to be nice to Marvel, the whole overarching project is rather impressive, and Kevin Feige, tip of the hat, like, how did you do that, man? How did you
listen to us?
How did you
listen to us?
For 1 second? How did he do that? How did he like all the drama with Disney, all the drama with Sony and Spider-Man and the fans and the movies and Georgia and the movies and California and the Trump and he made fucking 45 of these movies, a bajillion TV shows. People fucking love them, and now me and you are here, number 45, and we for the first time are going, I can't wait for 46.
No, truly,
that's fucking crazy.
That is amazing. And the thing is, you know, just to go off what you said, I think, you know, Marvel comic book movies, they are an important part of the movie industry ecosystem now as it currently stands. You know, because Ryan Coogler's not making Sinners without making Black Panther. You know, they are an important part of the ecosystem. We need these movies that like
they keep
top
movie
of the ballot,
alive,
exactly, top of the ballot headliner tent poles, and that then positively affect other movies down the ballot that make opportunities for directors to level up, for Coogler to become the new Nolan, the new Spielberg, and so they are an important part of the movie industry ecosystem. The problem, like you said, is when they got too greedy, tried to spread it too far, swallowed up too much space in the movie ecosystem, took up too much capital so that nothing could get made besides comic book movies. And they ultimately, you know, the rest of us suffered from that. The industry suffered from that. Yeah. Marvel started to suffer from that. But now Thunderbolts really does feel like this sort of back to basics storytelling for them, and I really liked it. I was insanely could not believe it. I was rooting for Marvel. Now I'm excited for the next one, excited for the future. But I'm also not so naive to think that the MCU is now going to be cast in the image of Florence Pugh. No. Like
here's a little fucking newsflash. The next one's going to suck, and then the next 12 after they're going to suck.
That unfortunately is true.
This is all just like a moment because Florence Pugh.
This is a moment in time. This is a moment. We live in time, to quote another Florence Pugh movie. Yeah. And this is a brief little island of time in which we're having
one
fun.
Quick moment.
We're having fun with Marvel. We're rooting for Marvel. Everything's making sense. All other movies are making money. Cougler's making Sinners.
Right.
Everything is working right now on this little island. But Fantastic Four does not look great.
No, it looks
bad. And
but so did Thunderbolts, man.
By the
until the end,
yeah.
At the end, I was like, "Yay, Thunderbolts!" But
Fantastic Four looks bad in a way that I don't know if is like fixable, and that it's like unwieldy. It looks unwieldy. It looks like too much material, too much going on. It looks a little messy. It looks unfunny. It looks uncharming.
Well, I hate nostalgia, pop nostalgia. I hate the vibe, like the 50s, but it's like colorful and spacey. Like I hate that flavor.
It's such
so
a crutch.
much.
It seems aesthetically it's using a lot of crutches.
Crutch is a good word for it.
I am not excited for
Pedro
Fantastic
Pascal,
Four, and I'm definitely not excited for the Russo brothers, another Avengers movie from the Russo brothers. So I do think ultimately this is just we enjoying this moment because we know it's probably a temporary moment of rooting for Marvel and enjoying and everything balanced and fitting together. And they didn't spend $300 million; they only spent $180 million on this. So this is a brief little moment in time, but I'm enjoying it, and I'm going to give Thunderbolts 3.5 stars. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I'm not going to go quite that far. I'm going to go and give it the 3 stars though, for sure. It was good. It wasn't really good, in my opinion. But it was certainly good, and it was good because of the things we talked about. And just to say it once more, Florence Pugh is the Meryl Streep of her generation.
Yes. I saw real quick. I saw somebody online the other day, and I look. I like Caitlin Devers a lot, but you all have like some weird recency bias. I saw someone online saying, or not even online, it was Beanie Fieldstein saying Caitlin Devers is our Meryl Streep. No, she is not. Florence Pugh is our Meryl Streep.
That's fun, nice thing to say about your friends.
Streep. It's a very nice compliment to pay to your friend.
Yeah, that's what you pay.
It's
to
also
your
heresy.
It's obviously
Florence
not
Pugh
true.
is at this point almost sort of just like head and shoulders above everybody else in her generation.
She's the greatest actor of her generation. She's the greatest actor since Philip Seymour Hoffman, and she is.
You heard it here first.
And she is the Florence Pugh of her
beanie.
generation. So that's just facts. Sorry,
Joe. Next week we have a really exciting show coming up.
What is it?
I don't know how this didn't make it on either of our fantasy drafts. I honestly think I forgot that this movie was coming out this year. I don't know how we didn't draft it.
I'm really excited for this movie.
Friendship.
Yeah.
With Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
Directed by Andrew DeYoung, who's a frequent collaborator of Kate Berland and John Early, two incredible comedians.
This is the movie that's going to save
us,
comedy.
Baby.
This is the movie.
For us.
This movie's going to. This is my prediction. Is this movie saves comedy and brings comedy movies back to the movie theater? I bet this does very well.
Wow.
For it does like a very respectful number, and people start developing more comedy movies after this movie comes out.
Go
That's
see
my
Friendship.
Prediction.
Let's make this a Sinners level event. Let's go see.
It won't be that big number wise,
No,
but
it won't be on enough screens.
But in its pocket of in the genre and the demos it's going for, it will have that type of cultural thing.
Yeah,
I'm really going to over-index my confidence on this movie because I need this to work. Because if this doesn't work, then what are we doing at this company? So I need this movie to work.
I'm a little bit more cautious because I think I just don't know what it is yet, which is the fun of it.
Tim Robinson's going to do I Don't Think You Should Leave, and Paul Rudd's going to play the straight man.
I don't know if Paul Rudd's a straight man, though. I think Paul Rudd might end up being...
That's fine. I'm saying as far as like a poster and a marketing thing goes, as just like an idea.
Yes.
Like I think people love fucking I Think You Should Leave.
Well, here's the thing.
Paul Rudd, people love Paul Rudd.
Don't come at me for this because I love it. I think you should leave as much as you do, you little fuckers. I am wondering how it translates. A movie is a different thing. A movie is a very different thing.
People also love Detroiters, which you had 3 seasons of that, which is excellent.
I'm just wondering how that translates into an A24 movie. I'm just wondering.
Can I enlighten you really quick?
Yes, please.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to look beautiful.
Yeah.
Andrew DeYoung's going to shoot it like it's fucking important. They're going to sit in frame.
There's a lot of different things going on here.
It's going to work. The
things.
juxtaposition is going to be perfect. It's going to be shot handsomely, and then in those frames, it's going to have a really funny script, and then it's going to have these two comedic powerhouses just owning each frame, being funny as fuck. I have immense confidence in this movie.
I think you're right. I just watched an actual scene as opposed to a trailer that they put out, and I just had the slightest bit of caution around my optimism.
You thought that The Accountant 2 was going to win Best Picture based off of the trailer, and you don't like the Nicole Kidman promo.
This is actually very
maybe
close
you have bad trailer eyes. That's my new. You're not good at trailer deduction.
Joe hasn't been this mad since I didn't like Civil War. This is. I'm not trying to throw cold water in this. I'm just being honest. I'm being honest. I have the slightest little bit of caution to my optimism right now. But who knows? Maybe I'll come in next week and say it's the best movie of the year.
This movie's going to save comedy.
I don't know. I don't even know if it is a comedy. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
All right, maybe. Have you seen the trailer?
I mean,
for this movie?
One of Them Days saved comedy this year because that's a comedy. That's a comedy.
Listen, One of Them Days
be something different.
One of Them Days is a great movie that made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't live in a world where it was positioned or allowed to rekindle comedy.
TBD.
It's
going to make more money than Friendship.
No, it won't. And maybe
I'll bet on that. I'll bet you on that. I bet One of Them Days makes more money than Friendship.
How much did it make? 40 million?
One of Them Days is up to 50 million.
I'll bet you. It's not going to make more than 50
What are we
million.
betting? Think about what we're betting.
One of Them Days made $50 million.
Dude, it was a hit. It was this crazy surprise hit.
Okay, I think what I'm saying is
51 million worldwide. Almost 52 million.
Look, okay, well, first of all,
I don't think Friendship clears 52.
Done. Bet.
Woohoo! You heard it.
It will.
You heard it here first.
It's going to have an $18 million opening weekend.
We'll decide what we bet later after the bet is concluded.
I bet you the rest of these cups.
You got to get me another box of Horizon for the cup. That's only for me. Okay, it's only for me.
That's the bet.
Okay, great. What do you want if you win?
Same.
Well, you're not going to, so it's not going to matter.
I
okay,
want the same.
Sure. Yeah, same for you. If you win, you won't. So that's next week. But right now. Oh, and we got next week. Okay,
that's good.
This is the one everyone's waiting for.
Yeah,
on Weekend at Bergman's next week in our 1980s season, Twins, the Ivan Reitman movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito, the movie that proved that Arnold Schwarzenegger could do comedy, the one that gave him a leg up on Stallone, that drove Stallone crazy, and then he tried to start doing comedies. Twins versus the Peter Greenaway movie A Zed and Two Knots.
Yes.
This is huge. This is huge.
I only care about Peter Greenaway movies.
Honestly, one of the best all time.
That's all I care about.
All time. And right now, speaking of Weekend at Bergman's, in a mere 5 minutes, we are going to be back with. We're resuming our 1980s season. We've been off for a little while. Thank you for your patience, but we are back now, and we are back with a big one, baby. Paris, Texas versus E.T.
I don't know. I still don't know what I'm going to pick.
One of the movies that paved that essentially created independent film along with Jim Jarmusch in the 1980s versus the Spielberg summer movie, at the time the highest grossing movie of all time, the phenomenon itself, E.T.
Yep.
Paris, Texas versus E.T.
Come on out. It's going to be fun. I'll say stuff like this that I believe wholeheartedly.
Now is the time to join the Patreon.
I'm sick and tired of hearing about Jim Jarmusch. He's overrated. I don't care about him. Wim Wenders is 10 times the director he is.
That's a great take.
It's true.
And you're going to get more takes like that on the Patreon. No, don't apologize. That's great. What was the movie? Well, I watched something this week where someone was saying, don't apologize. Oh, I watched that movie, A Simple Favor.
Oh, the new one? Another Simple Favor?
I watched the first one because I hadn't seen it, and then I'm going to watch the sequel.
Yeah. Sarah, my wife, loves Simple Favor.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I won't say anything.
She loves Simple Favor.
Look,
it's schlock. I mean, she's not like...
It was honestly one of these movies where I'm like, I'm not even having an opinion on this because it's just not like it's just not my bag.
It's not for you.
Exactly. It's
Sarah
like you're doing what you're doing very well.
Yeah.
I cannot watch Anna Kendrick for a second longer. I have to turn this off.
Except for me, Cowan.
Okay.
Well, we'll see you at Weekend at Bergman's.
Bye.